there is something most people never think about, and it is quietly stealing years from their life. It is not stress. It is not poor diet. It is not even lack of exercise. It is the simple fact that you stopped sitting on the floor. That one change, that one modern habit of always reaching for a chair, a couch, or a cushion has disconnected your body from its most natural state. And the damage it causes does not show up overnight. It builds slowly, silently, invisibly, until one morning you wake up with stiff knees, aching hips, swollen ankles, and a lower back that never seems to fully recover. But here's what makes this truly remarkable. The moment you return to the floor, your body begins to remember. And that remembering happens fast, not in weeks, not even in days. Within minutes of sitting in these ancient positions, something shifts, the tightness softens, the stiffness loosens, the pain begins to quiet down, and your posture, without you even trying, starts to realign itself into something that looks almost sculptural. This is not an exaggeration. This is what the human body is capable of when you stop fighting it and start listening to it. Now, before going further, let's be honest about something. When you first try these positions, you will feel discomfort. You might feel toe pain, ankle tightness, lower back pressure, or a sense of being completely off balance. And your first instinct will be to stop, to stand up, and to go back to your chair. But that discomfort is not a warning sign. It is a message. It is your body telling you exactly where it has been ignored, where it has been compressed, where it has been waiting for attention. Because here's the truth. The most modern wellness culture never tells you humans do not fall apart randomly. We decline from the feet first. A small stiffness here, a little tightness there, ignored for months and then years. And suddenly your bones are fragile, your muscles are weakened, and the life you once lived starts to feel just slightly out of reach. If you are in your 30s, this is not too early to pay attention. If you are past 50, this is the moment to take it seriously, because the body does not lie. It simply waits until you are ready to listen. What we are exploring here is inspired by two traditional Japanese positions, Kiza and Sonkyo. These are not modern fitness trends. They are ancient postures that have been practiced in Japanese culture for centuries, used in martial arts, in ritual, in daily life. And they carry within them a kind of physical intelligence that no gym machine can replicate. The reason these positions are so powerful is because they do not just stretch your muscles. They reorganize your entire system from the ground up. They stimulate the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of your spine, which is sometimes called the sacred bone, and for good reason. When this area is gently activated and opened, the deep nervous system along the spine begins to reset. Not just your flexibility improves, a sense of calm returns, your body softens, your center of gravity rises. You begin to feel stable in a way that is hard to describe but impossible to miss once you experience it. Let's start with the very first movement, and it is the simplest one imaginable. Sit on the floor and rock your hips gently from side to side. That is it. Inhale as you rock one way, exhale as you return. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but pay close attention to what happens in the first 30 seconds. Your feet begin to wake up. Your hips start to loosen. Your spine, which has been compressed in a chair all day, begins to decompress on its own. This single movement begins the process of reminding your body what natural motion actually feels like. And for many people, it is the first time in years that their lower body has been given the freedom to move the way it was designed to. Do not rush through it. Do not treat it like a warm-up to get out of the way. This rocking motion is itself a form of restoration. Stay with it. Breathe into it. Let your body respond without forcing anything. Because what is happening beneath the surface in your joints, your fascia, your nervous system is far more significant than it appears from the outside. Your body is beginning to remember who it was built to be. And that process, once started, does not stop at the floor. It travels upward through everything. Stay with this. The first position we're going to explore properly is called Kiza. And if you have never heard that word before, do not worry. Your body already knows this shape. It is written into your biology, waiting to be reactivated. To get into Kiza, sit on your toes with your knees resting on the floor and then slowly lower your weight until your hips are resting on your heels. That is the position. Simple in description, profound in effect. Now, the moment you settle into it, you will feel something happening at the base of your toes, a stretch that is unfamiliar, perhaps even intense. And that sensation is important. What is actually occurring is that your plantar fascia, the thick band of tissue running along the bottom of your foot, is being gently lengthened and reactivated. Most people walking around today have plantar fascia that is chronically tight and underused. Years of flat shoes, hard floors, and zero toe mobility have essentially put this structure to sleep. Kiza wakes it up, and when it wakes up, everything above it changes too. Your arch lifts, your ankle stabilizes, your knee tracks better, your hip finds its natural rotation. One position, one continuous chain of restoration moving upward through your entire body. If there is pain in your knees or your toes when you first attempt this, do not push through it aggressively. Place a cushion beneath your knees or beneath your toes, or both. You can even begin practicing this position on a soft surface, like a bed or a thick yoga mat. The goal is not to endure pain. The goal is to give your body just enough challenge that it begins to adapt without creating tension that makes it shut down. This distinction matters enormously. There is a fine line between productive discomfort and counterproductive force, and learning to feel that line is itself part of the practice. When you find the edge of your comfort and breathe into it, rather than tensing against it, something remarkable happens. The tissue softens, the joint opens, the nervous system receives a signal that it is safe to release. And that release, that genuine letting go, is worth more than 100 aggressive stretching sessions that leave you sore and resistant the next morning. So go gently, go consistently, and trust that the body responds to patience far better than it ever responds to force. Now let's talk about what Kiza is doing beyond just your feet and toes. As you sit in this position with your body weight gently distributed across the tops of your feet, your brain is working overtime in the background. It is sending rapid signals down through your spinal cord and out into the small stabilizing muscles surrounding your ankles, telling them to activate, to coordinate, to hold the structure together. This is not simple strength training. This is neuromuscular coordination being rebuilt from scratch. Most people have lost significant communication between their nervous system and the smaller muscles of their lower legs and feet, not because of age, but because of disuse. Chairs, cushioned shoes, and flat surfaces have removed every natural challenge that once kept these pathways sharp and responsive. Kiza restores that conversation. It forces the brain and the body to reconnect along pathways that have gone quiet. And once that signal returns, once those small muscles begin firing again with regularity and precision, the effect cascades upward. Your hips move more freely. Your lower back stops gripping. Your posture shifts without effort. And your presence, the way you carry yourself through a room, becomes noticeably different. Not because you are trying harder, but because your body is finally working the way it was always meant to. After spending time in Kiza, straighten your legs and let your knees fully relax. Breathe slowly and deeply. Feel the release moving through the soles of your feet, up through your shins, settling into your knees and lower back. This moment of recovery between positions is not wasted time. It is when your body processes and integrates everything it has just experienced. Your tissues are reorganizing. Your nervous system is updating its map of your body. Your circulation is moving into areas that were previously compressed and restricted. Honor this pause. Do not rush past it to get to the next thing. Because one of the most important lessons hidden inside these ancient Japanese practices is this: rest is not the absence of progress. Rest is where progress actually lives. The work happens in the position. The transformation happens in the breath between positions. And together, they create something that no isolated exercise, no single gym session, no quick fix routine can replicate. They create a body that is genuinely deeply awake. And an awake body is a body that heals itself, moves freely, and carries you through life with a kind of effortless strength that most people stop believing is possible after a certain age. But it is possible. It is waiting inside you right now. The second position is called Sonkyo. And if Kiza was the foundation, Sonkyo is where everything truly opens. To move into Sonkyo, sit on your toes again, but this time keep your heels approximately 1 foot apart and allow your knees to rise up into the air in front of you. Your weight is balanced on the balls of your feet, your spine is tall, and your entire lower body is engaged in a way that is unlike anything a conventional workout produces. Now, finding your balance here will take a moment. That is completely normal and completely expected. If you feel unsteady, hold on to something solid, a wall, a chair, a door frame, and allow your body to find its footing gradually. You can also rock very slightly from side to side, just enough to feel the weight shifting and the muscles responding. What matters is not achieving a perfect posture on the first attempt. What matters is showing up for the attempt itself. Because every second you spend in this position, even an imperfect version of it, is sending powerful signals through your body that begin the process of change. Sonkyo is not just a stretch. It is a full body recalibration happening simultaneously across your feet, ankles, knees, hips, spine, and even your internal organs. Here is something that most fitness content never mentions, and it is one of the most important reasons these positions carry such profound effects. When you settle into Sonkyo and allow your body to relax within the position rather than tensing against it, your internal organs begin to shift. The compression patterns created by hours of sitting in chairs, patterns that restrict healthy movement of the digestive system, the reproductive organs, and the lower abdominal structures begin to release. The gentle pressure and angle of this posture creates a natural massaging effect on the organs of the lower abdomen. Digestion improves. Circulation to the pelvic region increases. The lymphatic system, which depends entirely on movement and compression to function, begins clearing more efficiently. This is why people who regularly practice floor-based positions often report improvements that seem completely unrelated to the physical movement itself. Better digestion, reduced bloating, clearer thinking, improved energy levels, and even changes in their emotional state. The body is not a collection of separate parts. It is one deeply interconnected system. And when you work with it at this fundamental level, the benefits do not stay confined to your muscles and joints. They spread into every system your body contains. Let's talk about the sacrum again, because it deserves more attention than it typically receives. The sacrum is the large triangular bone sitting at the very base of your spine, just above your tailbone. In many ancient traditions, this bone was considered sacred. Literally, the word sacrum comes from the Latin term meaning holy bone. And while modern anatomy has moved away from that kind of language, the physical reality behind it remains entirely valid. The sacrum is the anchor point for an extraordinary number of critical structures: major ligaments, deep spinal muscles, the base of the spinal cord, and the beginnings of the sciatic nerve. When the sacrum is compressed, tilted, or restricted, which is almost universal in people who sit in chairs for most of their day, the effects radiate outward in every direction. Sciatica flares, hip mobility decreases, lower back pain becomes chronic. Even the upper spine compensates, creating tension in the shoulders and neck. But when the sacrum is gently stimulated and allowed to decompress, which is exactly what happens in both Kiza and Sonkyo, the entire spinal system begins to reorganize. The deep muscles release their grip. The nerve pathways open. And that sense of physical safety, that feeling of being grounded and stable in your own body gradually returns. Now close your eyes for a moment while holding Sankyo if your balance allows it. Notice what happens. The moment your visual input disappears, your balance becomes significantly more challenging. This is not a flaw in the exercise. This is the point. What you are experiencing is your proprioceptive system, your body's internal sense of position and spatial awareness being forced to work independently without the crutch of visual reference. This system, like the small muscles of the feet and ankles, has been severely underworked in most modern adults. We rely on vision and on the stability of flat, predictable surfaces to navigate the world. As a result, our internal balance mechanisms have grown weak and slow. Practicing Sankyo with closed eyes, even for just a few seconds at a time, begins retraining this system rapidly. And the benefits extend far beyond better balance on the floor. Improved proprioception means fewer falls, sharper reflexes, better coordination during everyday movement, and a body that responds quickly and intelligently to unexpected changes in its environment. This is why sumo wrestlers take this exact position before a match. It is not ceremony for the sake of ceremony. It is a precise, intentional act of bringing the entire nervous system into a state of full alertness and readiness. They are not just preparing the muscles, they are preparing their entire being. And you can do exactly the same thing right there on your floor every single morning. There is a moment that happens somewhere between day 3 and day 7 of practicing these positions consistently. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself loudly, but you will know it when it arrives. You stand up from the floor after your session, take your first few steps, and something feels different. Not painful different, not strange different, lighter different. Like a weight you had completely forgotten you were carrying has quietly been set down. Your feet meet the ground with a softness and awareness they did not have before. Your hips swing forward with less resistance. Your lower back, which has perhaps been a background noise of tension for so long that you stopped noticing it, is simply quieter. And your eyes. This is the part that surprises people most. Your eyes feel brighter, more alert, more present. This is not imagination. This is physiology. When the sacrum decompresses and the deep spinal nerves are no longer under chronic pressure, the entire nervous system shifts out of a low-grade stress response and into a state of genuine ease. Your brain receives better blood flow, your vision sharpens, your thinking clarifies, and the world, without any external change whatsoever, begins to look slightly more vivid than it did before. This is what it feels like when your body stops surviving and starts actually living. Now let's talk about the final movement in this practice, because it brings everything together in one continuous, flowing release. From your Sankyo position, if you are holding onto something for support, keep that support and begin rotating your hips in slow, wide circles. Let the movement be loose and generous. Let your toes, your ankles, your knees, and your hips all participate in the rotation without forcing any single joint to move beyond its comfortable range. Go one direction for several breaths, then reverse and go the other way. What you are doing here is not simply mobilizing your hip joint. You are creating a wave, a slow, deliberate wave of movement that begins at the very tips of your toes and travels upward through every structure in your lower body, through your pelvis, along your spine, and all the way up into your shoulders and the base of your skull. This wave is the body's natural language. It is how the human body was designed to move before chairs, before cars, before desks removed every natural occasion for this kind of full connected motion. And when you reintroduce it, even for just a few minutes each day, the body receives it like water after a long drought. Every tissue responds, every joint sighs open, every compressed space along your spine gets a moment to breathe. When you finally release the position and stand up fully, Take 30 seconds to simply stand still and feel your feet on the floor. Feel the contact, the pressure, the texture of the ground beneath you. Notice how your weight is distributed. Notice whether your spine feels longer than it did when you began. Notice whether your shoulders have dropped away from your ears without you asking them to. This standing awareness is not a passive moment. It is one of the most active parts of the entire practice. Because what you are doing is giving your nervous system the opportunity to register and record the new state of your body. You are essentially saving the file. And the more consistently you do this, the more regularly you give your body these positions and then stand quietly afterward to feel the result, the faster your body begins to adopt this new state as its default. The stiffness stops returning as quickly, the pain takes longer to rebuild. The ease you feel after practice starts bleeding into the hours that follow, and then into the days, and eventually into the way your body simply feels all the time. This is not a miracle. This is neuroplasticity. This is your body learning, adapting, and upgrading in real time based on the information you are giving it every single day. And that is the most important thing to take away from everything covered here. This is not about perfection. It is not about achieving a flawless deep squat or holding Songkyo for 10 minutes without wobbling. It is about showing up. It is about giving your body 5 minutes on the floor in the morning and trusting that those 5 minutes, repeated consistently, will compound into something extraordinary over time. Because they will. The human body is not fragile. It is not doomed to decline. It is adaptive, resilient, and deeply intelligent. And it responds with remarkable speed when you finally give it what it has been asking for. So start today, not tomorrow. Not after you feel more flexible or more motivated or more ready. Today, right now, lower yourself to the floor and begin. Your feet will wake up, your hips will open, your spine will lengthen, and your body will begin the process of becoming stronger, freer, and more alive than it has felt in years. If this practice made a difference for you, share it with someone who needs it. Leave a comment below describing what you felt, and make sure you follow for more movement practices that help you build a body that carries you powerfully through every decade of your life. Your best years are not behind you. They are being built right now, one session at a time,